Forest holding on to edge West Ham there and keep those Champions League hopes alive. Forest remaining just a point behind fourth place Chelsea as it stands, and they will host Chelsea next weekend at the City Ground on Sunday. This is what we're looking at when it comes to the games that are remaining for those in the battle. Now, of course, Manchester City still have that game in hand to play against Bournemouth. That's coming up on Tuesday. But then when it comes to the final day, this is what we're looking at. It is hard to take your eyes off that showdown between Forest and Chelsea. Newcastle will be playing Everton, Aston Villa at Manchester United, Man City at Fulham. It is that time of the day where we talk about the top five. It often changes with opinions and facts and all of that stuff. And Frank Leboeuf always shows up for this top five talk. Frank, today, anything has changed in your mind as to who will be securing these remaining Champions League spots?
No, I'm concerned about Chelsea because they're going to play against Forest, and it's going to be of course very difficult because they're going to play away from home, and Nottingham is going to be up to a miracle because overall they deserve that miracle. They've been outstanding the whole season long. Went down a little bit at the end of it, but still deserve to be in the Champions League because of the season they're having so far. I have some concerns about Newcastle. Newcastle had a very good first half, I have to say, and without Raya, I think they should have scored a goal. But they lost that game, and the second half, like they had the second half against Chelsea, I think they went down physically. And even if they missed some players like Isaac, of course, they couldn't convert any goals, and I'm concerned about them even if they play at home. So let's say that it's an open door. Everybody can be in the top five, but I think City is going to be in. I think Aston Villa is going to be in. So it's only one spot left. Can it be really a blue and say Chelsea can do that?
If you believe it, you can say it. If you believe it, you can say it.
I believe because my heart talks, but if I just feel the football, I would say that Newcastle's going to be in because they're going to win against Everton.
Well, the good thing for Newcastle is they are at home. They're at St James's Park, and thank goodness it's not Everton on the final day at Goodison Park when they're waving goodbye to Goodison Park. They've already done that now.
Absolutely. They've had their day at Goodison, and what a day it was. But if you're Newcastle, you want to be playing for all the marbles at St James's Park, and that's what they're getting. In a team that, as you say, have had their moment with Goodison Park, they aren't playing for anything else for the rest of the season, so I think Newcastle are in a good spot in that regard. For Aston Villa, and we've spoken about this, they finish against Manchester United, who of course have the Europa League final to come, so we see what condition they're in for that final game of the season. And then it all comes down to Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. I'm like Frank. I think City get the job done. They're playing well enough to just about get their job done and finish top five. And of all the games, the biggest concern and probably the most difficult to call is that Chelsea game away to Nottingham Forest, and that's where I feel it comes unstuck. I don't think. While maybe I went into this game against West Ham with concerns around Nottingham Forest, given what we saw last time out against Leicester, given everything after the final whistle with the owner and Nuno Espirito Santo and everything else, I wanted to see how they respond. And I thought they did wonderfully well away to West Ham. And so good enough to at least get a draw against Chelsea, which means that kind of rules both them and Chelsea out of my top five.